So word on the street is that Stephanie White is putting together a dream type team to help this team get over the hump and go to the WNBA finals.
Rumor has it that Stephanie White is assembling a dream team to assist this team overcome its setback and get to the WNBA championships. Have you seen the recent actions of Stephanie White? By focusing on two players who can change the game, she is transforming the Indiana Fever. One may end up becoming the highest paid player in the WNBA, while the other isn't even on the club yet. It's a daring risk that might change the course of the Fever. It has a homey atmosphere. The reason it feels like home is because it is. And I am thrilled to be leading this franchise and take it to the next level. I am also extremely humbled, flattered, and appreciative. There are really excellent players here, Some coaches, tend to play it safe. Not Stephanie White. She is putting all of her faith in the future of the Indiana Fever and disregarding caution. Let's dissect White's bold scheme. She is placing all of her money on only two players. Two. Is it not unbelievable? White is placing all of her money on a pair of aces while other coaches spread their bets. Stephanie White is working quickly to assemble a draft pick that will bring Kayla Clark and the Indiana Fever one step closer to a WNBA championship. Even one of these players isn't yet a member of the team. White isn't merely reconstructing. She is bringing forth a revolution in basketball. We're not waiting, she says, glancing at the Fever's future. Now we're winning. It was an amazing time for me to be working with her and this young team, especially while I was coaching at the college level and covering her games. You may be asking yourself, is this genius or insane? Let's examine the components that White is attempting to assemble. Let's start with Caitlin Clark. She is already demonstrating her value, then some. It wasn't simply Clark who joined the Fever. She changed them. She transformed a struggling squad into a postseason contender in a single season. After leading the Fever to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years last year, the 22-year-old has already made a name for herself as one of the league's biggest players. She became the only player in history to earn Rookie of the Year with a unanimous vote during that campaign. Do you recall when the Fever were struggling to win and at the bottom of the league? Clark has now guaranteed them a spot in the playoffs. She is more than just a scorer. She is improving the team as a whole. Fans are crammed into the stands by her electrifying energy, deep threes, and impossible passes. White isn't finished, though. She is aiming for a player who can change the game. White is a risk taker who has the ability to change the world. The Fever might go from being a postseason contender to the clear favorite thanks to this intriguing move. She claims that she wanted seasoned players to join her in bringing this squad back to its former glory. To help them get over the hurdle of making it to the WNBA finals, she also needs one rookie, I'll tell you that. Who is this mystery player, you may wonder? Yes, it is the crucial question. Rumors are circulating, but White is keeping her cards close to the vest. For White to be this self-assured, she must be something unique, whomever she is. They are undoubtedly a thrilling team to watch. Offensively, I believe we can be more inventive. I believe we can use more adaptability and use some players in different capacities. I'm an unconventional, forward-thinking coach. I enjoy putting them to the test on several fronts. They should be allowed to make plays because they are a high IQ team. You don't run plays if you want to make them. Everyone is aware that players ultimately win the ball games. You must provide them the autonomy and self-assurance to trust that they can make those plays. Additionally, a little portion of the structure will assist them understand the various ways you might attack. In my opinion, we need to improve our defensive performance. Undoubtedly, we don't need to take drastic measures to get from where we are to the top, right? However, we need to keep improving. We must ensure that we can position ourselves to win ball games on the days when shots aren't falling. White has a definite plan. Slow, steady growth doesn't appeal to her. She wants to succeed, and she wants to succeed greatly. When she looks at the Fever, she sees what it might be rather than what it is. A dynasty in the making, a formidable squad. It is Stephanie White's obligation to restore success to Indiana once more. The Indianapolis native was given the responsibility of igniting an era of success for the club led by Caitlin Clark after being named the WNBA's franchise head coach for the second time last month. Do you recall the mystery player White has been pursuing? Her name is Anissa Morrow, and the secret is out. Not only is she skilled, but she has a perfect 7-0 record this season. Coaches would swoon over a record like that. Joining is Anissa Morrow. The LSU standout has been playing well this season, going 7-0 so far and averaging 18 points and 13 rebounds per game. 4 of her games are anticipated to be selected in the WNBA draft in April. The Indiana Fever, who own the 8th pick in the draft, are expected to select a 22-year-old, according to ESPN's Michael Vogel. The Indiana Fever have the 8th pick in the draft, and their core club might change the course of history if they land the proper guy. How come White is so focused on Morrow? Why is White ready to risk the Fever's future on her? What makes her so unique? Let's dissect it then. Morrow is a game changer in addition to being a skilled player. Angel Reese, a former teammate from LSU, was gushing about her. Reese stated, "Ness puts in a lot of effort every day, and she earned me. Without Ness, I couldn't perform my duties," Reese stated during her final LSU season. From a top player like Reese, it is really high praise. Her teammates aren't the only ones who are taking notice, though. According to Michael Vogel of ESPN, the Fever will select Morrow in the draft. He recognizes the potential influence she could have in addition to Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. Can you picture that lineup? It's enough to make rival coaches shiver. White's plan for Morrow goes beyond the Fever. It's a component of a larger WNBA trend. In order to create competitive lineups, teams are trying to match together experienced players with talented newcomers. White is not merely adopting the trend, rather, she is going beyond it. She has stated that she hoped to bring in seasoned players to assist lead this club back to glory. I'll tell you what, though, she needs one rookie to help them get past the hurdle of making it to the WNBA Finals. How will Caitlin Clark respond to this new player joining the Indiana Fever, you ask? After all, Anish had played with Angel Reese, Clark's fiercest opponent. However, rumors have it that she will be greeted with welcoming arms. Why? Because this is business at the end of the day, since nobody would have guessed that Caitlin Clark would prefer an LSU student. However, this demonstrates the distinction between college and the W. It's business, and when you're in business, you do what's best for your company. You go off business, not your sentiments. And that's what Caitlin Clark is doing at the moment, my friend. Acting in the best interests of the company. And believe me when I say that, unless I'm serving in that capacity, it's going to be an Indiana Fever if they generate revenue, make sense, and get them that much closer to where they need to be. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves, though. Money is the main factor, and there is still a major catch. The future of the Fever might be made or broken by White's idea. Let's take a moment to discuss Caitlin Clark. Not only is she good, but she's very good. Here we're discussing the possibilities for the highest paid player in WNBA history. Here's the catch, though. Things start to become pretty intriguing as her rookie contract is about to expire. Time is not being wasted by the Fever. At the moment, they are attempting to renegotiate Clark's contract. As she begins her second season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark steps down. Additionally, Caitlin Clark will be in the second year of a 4-year deal. Despite losing in the first round of the playoffs the previous season, the guard has not shown any annoyance at her lack of postseason success in her first campaign. But why the haste? It's easy, actually. They anticipate what will happen. Other teams with large budgets are circling like sharks. Before someone else makes an irresistible offer, the Fever must lock Clark down. Perhaps you're asking yourself, can't the Fever just match any offer? Yes, but it's more complicated than that. Money isn't the only consideration. Winning is the goal. This is where Morrow enters the picture. White is wagering the championships are equal to Clark plus Morrow. She is attempting to convince Clark of a vision rather than merely a salary. As she begins her second season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark steps down. Additionally, Caitlin Clark will be in the second year of a 4-year deal. Despite losing in the first round of the playoffs the previous season, the guard has not shown any annoyance at her lack of postseason success in her first campaign. There is pressure on the Fever to guarantee Clark's continued membership. Her desire to win a championship will be a major factor in her decision to remain in Indiana. The money isn't the only consideration. The goal is to assemble a team capable of contending for championships. Here's the problem, though. Clark desires to remain a member of the Fever. She's searching for more than just the highest salary. In Indiana, she hopes to create something unique. There in Indiana, she has the opportunity to become the highest paid player in WNBA history if she resigns. Said they are negotiating a new contract for Caitlin Clark at the end of this season. Without delay, they must terminate this rookie contract. The Fever have a clear plan. By the end of this season, they hope to have Clark's deal finalized. Before other teams even consider making an offer, they want to guarantee her long-term commitment. Although it's a risky move, they must take it. Consider it. The Fever have already moved up from league bottom feeders to postseason hopefuls thanks to Clark's performance. With a few more years and a supporting cast like Morrow, just think of what she could accomplish. The Fever are attempting to retain more than simply a top player. Their goal is to establish a dynasty. After landing Clark, White's work is far from over. With her sights set on a basketball dream team that has the potential to alter WNBA history, she is eyeing Morrow. However, her approach is drawing criticism. Does she set herself up for failure, or is she a genius? Let's dissect White's strategy. The scoring machine, Caitlin Clark, is here. Anissa Morrow, the undefeated superstar, may be ours. Not to be overlooked is Aaliyah Boston, who was vital in White's concept. And this is what we had in mind when we started the Indiana Fever series. Really, I'm just really thrilled and thankful to be able to contribute to it on this side and help it reach new heights. Imagine Boston's versatility, Morrow's rebounding, and Clark's scoring on a single squad. Clark is able to photograph from any location. Morrow goes into defensive mode. Boston affects both ends of the floor and is the adhesive. They will have a beautiful, nice, strong forward court, though, if they can get Naz going with Aaliyah Boston. And, dude, this is fantastic. It's fantastic for Caitlin Clark. For Stephanie White, this is fantastic. Can they play together, though? It's a legitimate worry. Super teams have failed in the past. White is wagering that since each of them has such exceptional potential, they will figure it out. The rest of the WNBA had better be on guard if they do. Why is this possible trio so intriguing? It all depends on how well their skills complement one another. By drawing defenders, Clark makes room for Boston and Morrow. Clark is relieved of pressure by Morrow's defense. Boston's adaptability brings everything together. You think of the core three when you think of teams, don't you? You consider the big three. And it just couldn't have lined up any better to be able to work with those big three and keep working and assembling components around them in order to compete for a championship back in my home state. Some believe White is insane for putting talent above chemistry. They have a point when they suggest that having the best players isn't the only thing that makes basketball great. Star-studded lineups have been outperformed by less talented teams, but White isn't concerned about that. She is a results-driven person. She sees championships when she looks at Boston, Morrow, and Clark. It's a high-risk, high-reward tactic that may either make her appear brilliant or go horribly wrong. There is no doubt about that. The Indiana Fever will soon surpass all other WNBA teams in terms of viewership. Is White's ideal squad going to materialize? It's going to be a thrilling moment when we find out. The Indiana Fever, being coached by Stephanie White, who seems to have a crystal ball. Isn't what she's doing unbelievable? Her entire bet is on Anissa Morrow and Caitlin Clark. Everyone is talking about it because it's brave and bold. It goes without saying that throughout the league's history, this organization has had all the resources necessary for success in any situation we've been in, and we've kept up with that as the needle moves, things change, and they keep changing so quickly. And I believe that's a pretty significant aspect of the WNBA's current history, future goals, and where we may be headed. This is where it gets crazy, though. The future of the Fever? It's in the air. You may be wondering if this is the beginning of anything big. Or perhaps you're gnawing your fingernails, fearing that everything will collapse. In any case, the enthusiasm in the air is undeniable. White is more than just a coach. Whether you like it or not, she is attempting to change the entire game. She has steely nerves, you must agree. The Indiana Fever are squarely in the heart of the WNBA's impending chaos. Are the fireworks ready for you?